Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what another day in the market, right? Another red one that is. And again, we shouldn't be surprised, and I'll show you why and everything. Also, what caused the downturn today? Again, we get more economic news coming out, and I said these reports are going to start meaning more and more over the next coming months for sure. And that is panning out. So we'll get into all the charts and a few things I want to get your opinion on. But I will start off by saying, you know how I feel about our government officials. I think they're some of the most useless people on the planet. Not all of them, but I think they do a terrible job, especially over the last 3 decades for sure. And this is just one of those things right here, which didn't get a lot of attention today, but I've done a whole video on this before, so I'm very up to date on this. And if you want to talk about like a national security type issue, right here, China waives export ban for rare earth magnet tech. And this just supposedly came out today, at least when I read about it. And what they're doing now is China's considered prohibiting exports of certain rare earth magnet technology in a move that would counter the U.S.'s advantage in the high-tech arena. The revision would either ban or restrict exports of technology to process and refine rare earth elements. There are also proposed revisions that would prohibit or limit exports of alloy tech for making high-performance magnets derived from rare earth. And to show you how inept our government has been in the last 3 decades, look at this. China's share of all rare earth produced globally dropped to roughly 70% now last year from about 90% a decade earlier. And you want to talk about somebody asleep at the wheel for a long time? Like, how does our government not realize that the Chinese government, or any government that matter, has 90% on any industry? You can't allow any country in any industry to have 90%. Imagine if one country had 90% of the oil, 90% of natural gas, whatever you want to name. And in this case, they had up to 90%. I don't know if we're still doing it now. We were for years shipping our stuff over there to actually get it processed, because it's a dirty process and a dangerous process. Now, supposedly, finally, I know when President Trump came in, he said, this is a national security issue. It's like, ho-ho, somebody finally recognized that? Oh, I can't believe it, right? And so, again, this is where I say, if you ever wonder why we really don't push China too much, this is it. They have us over a barrel. They make all our stuff, right? Provide cheap labor to do it. And all our companies, they have all our company tech. I'll probably do a whole different video on that. And all that stuff. They didn't bother inventing it. They just stole it, right? And then they had this right here. They basically locked up the industry. The only other country that didn't fall asleep at the wheel has been fighting this is Australia. They're way ahead of the game compared to the U.S., right? And I think they were refining theirs in the Philippines, but the Philippines said no thank you anymore. And so, because a lot of that stuff is very radioactive and stuff. And so I don't know if they built the plant in Australia or we're trying to build a plant in Australia, and we're trying to build one in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I'm sure you get paid good to do that job, but I wouldn't want to be the one doing it. So, and if you ever not see anything about it, just, I don't know, type in YouTube processing rare earth minerals, what all goes into it, okay? But again, China don't really care about their people, so they're like, yeah, get in there and process this stuff up for everybody. And now I was waiting for the day where they go, we might restrict some stuff, right? And so a couple of things, let me know in the comments what you think about that. Then another one came out today. Walmart said today is expecting inflation to add sustained pressure to its business this year, i.e. keep expecting high grocery bills, and that it's planning to slow the pace of hiring as it uses more automation to tighten the labor market. And it goes on to say, and again, please let me know in the comments like I'm a kindergartner. This one, somebody said this one, well, actually Walmart didn't say this. Somebody else said this. This will invent more jobs. I'm like, I go to Walmart, and stuff, and I'm looking at it going, they eliminated all the clerks. So now we don't have a human being you can talk to, but there is two people standing there. One, scan your ID if you buy an alcoholic product as your bag, scanning it and bagging it yourself. And the other one to come over if you have a problem because you don't know how to weigh the bananas or whatever fruit you're trying to do. Imagine that. And so, but again, I saw 10 clerks disappear, and I saw 2 people still standing there. Still trying to figure out where the new jobs came from. And so you're using more, and the point in having automation is to eliminate jobs and make people the whole thing more productive, but really just eliminate more jobs, right? And so to put more money to the bottom line. But I'm still trying to figure out in Walmart, what's the new jobs that's going to be created? I don't really understand that, because the company is going to be the ones actually updating and doing the upkeep and stuff on the machinery. So it's not going to be a Walmart employee trying to do that, right? So there'll be some company doing that. So just let me know in the comments what I'm missing on that one. I don't see it, and I'm expecting to see robots pretty soon going there and stocking those shelves. Same way you got out at Amazon warehouses, those kind of robots. So I expect to see that in there soon. We'll see, but again, I don't understand. And don't forget, guys, when it comes to Walmart and these companies, the truth is it's actually better off for us in a way because we already subsidize Walmart, a lot of Walmart employees. It's not their fault, by the way. A lot of Amazon employees, a lot of the company's employees with welfare because most of them rate welfare. I've had family members work there and they'll tell you, oh yeah, and at Amazon, you get insurance on day one for a reason. Because the joke is you're going to need it because you're going to be in a doctor's office within a week probably, right? And so we actually subsidize a lot of it. So it might save us on the taxpayers more money. Maybe eventually the grocery bills will go down. We'll see. But that's a warning, right? Inflation is sticky with us. So I guess those eggs will stay up there and all the other vegetables and stuff. So anyway, I do want to give credit where credit is due. Credit Suisse. This is something you'll never see in America. They actually say, you know what? Since this bank got in trouble, we're going to go ahead and order. I don't know how they do this legally, but they order the cuts of the bonuses. It's like up to $60 million in bonuses, I believe, that will not be paid out to these managers for doing such a horrible, horrific job. Again, this is something I don't think you'll ever see it in America, ever done. I wish it was done, but it will not be. And so, again, kudos to them for doing the right thing. Let me know what you think in the comments about that. Now, here's what tanked the market this morning. Another payroll report. I said, watch this one. It's going to come out, and it will move markets. Well, it ended up being the ADP payrolls. 145,000 jobs were created versus 210,000 jobs they thought. So again, less, right? It was coming in hot all these months, and now we're under. And you get to see the amount of jobs, and you can see the amount of jobs basically either lost or whatever you put in these different sectors. But also you see down there in hospitality and leisure, 98,000 gained, right? So that's still rocking and rolling. And you can see by this chart right here, we've had these declines before. And you think, oh, this is it. All right, cool. We're going to start getting a steady decline. And then it pops back up and goes hot, what they estimate the next month. So let's give it 2 months to see what happens here, right? But immediately when this hits, what do you think happens to yields? Bam, goes down on one. And then, of course, something else came out, which dropped it down again. So they're green every morning. But then the 2-year and the 10-year get hits. And if you get anything out of this, guys, please hit that like, subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And if you're new, think about subscribing. If you like this content, I really appreciate your support. Now, of course, gold is rallying, right? And of course, China, of course, is buying a boatload of gold for the first time since 2018. That's one thing that is driving the price up, by the way, if you didn't know that. And so keep that in mind. But no, that's rallying, of course. Utilities did really good today. Again, some defensive areas, healthcare did really good today. But I do want to get your opinion on this. This right here, I'm going to get my phone out on this one. I need the calculator. This kind of made me laugh, and I've showed you, I mean, and we all know it, right? How 10 stocks in NASDAQ 100 make up 88% of the gains and stuff. And so I saw this tweet come out, and again, I'm not into drama, so I'm not going to put the person's name in or anything. I'm not trying to pick a fight with them or anything. I just found it funny, the argument they were trying to make, right? And it says, I count well over 100 large cap stocks, 10 billion plus market cap, on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ that are up over 20% just this year alone. So no, it's not only 5 stocks holding up this market, far from it, right? And again, I don't know how many on this or 10 billion plus whatever, but if you just look at how many companies there are, if you Google this, there's 2,800 companies listed on the New York Stock Exchange. There are around 3,300 companies listed on the NASDAQ. And look, I don't know what percentage of those stocks on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, I'm sure I can find it, but I'm not going to bother, what percentage of them have a $10 billion market cap or more. But just keep in mind, the 10 that have the biggest, I mean, we're talking about, Apple, I think, is still sitting at $2 trillion. What is Microsoft, $1.8 trillion? I mean, think about those numbers. And you're talking about $10 billion market cap, and you're 125, 150, have gone up 20% since the start of the year, whatever it is, from the October lows, whatever it was. Come on. It's got to be a small, minute percentage. And yes, those big dogs, whether you like it or not, are holding up the market. That's just the way it is. If they have bad days, the market's going to have a bad day. That lets you know there's not enough stocks participating yet. Doesn't mean they ain't going to come up, move up. It just means big money is moving into those big stocks because they have so much cash on hand and bulletproof, balance sheets. Okay, that's why they're doing that. They don't need to worry about taking out debt and all that stuff. Like I showed you before, they have more money, have more interest earned on the cash on hand than their debt payments are. Okay, as far as the interest and stuff. So that's why that's happening. So just keep that in mind. And again, think what you want to think, but that's just the reality and everything. So just want to put out there. I thought it was funny when I saw it. I thought, my God, people are trying to make this case like, oh, the whole stock market should participate. I'm like, have you seen what's going on with the Russell? Right? It's not participating. I just put an article down with the members. I'm going to do some more research on this. But, the Russell 2000, man, it's looking kind of rough. Not really participate too much, is it? Right? Small caps are getting hammered. But, it is the big stocks that are holding this up. And, going into the chart, you can see, we got this 2-day sell-off, right? So it's the second red day again. There's plenty of demand right there. And then even below, even more demand if we happen to follow that level and whatever. And that right there is the weekly expected move. But again, we shouldn't be surprised. And again, as I told you this on Monday right here, something to pay close attention to is this right here. Obviously, the MACD is crossing that zero line, right? Just crossed it. And let's look at the last few times this has happened. That don't mean you're going up like the moon, right? Like here, it's sold off around 3 to 4 days. Decent pullback, right? There's another time right here in November. You saw a 3 or 4 day pullback right here. And so that's something to pay attention to. And if we move over to here, you can see the exact same thing. You get about a 3 to 4 day pullback. Nothing major. But again, that's what we're seeing now. So again, until we get past that point, it's really nothing I'm even sweating anyway about going down anymore in case something happens with all the news coming out. But again, looking at the cues, what happened? Sell it off, found support. Now that what was resistance is now support, right? They can bounce tomorrow. Again, you saw it back here multiple times where it actually was support right there. And you saw it right behind it being resistance, right? Apple. This is the weekly right here. Watch the weekly close this week because we've been here before, right? Actually, this will be the 4th time. If it ends up below that trend line, remember, we hit it like a wall, got rejected. This is something to pay close attention to, and it's almost the same setup as last time. You see that MACD where it crosses the zero line, then roll back over and cross back through the zero line? Something to keep an eye out on the bigger time frame there. Tesla, obviously, 3 days of sell-off now. You can see, still got the big gap above, broke that trend line, but again, we got plenty of support right below it. It looks like the MACD's rolling over there with a bear's cross. It's really hard for me to make out right there. RSI is breaking below the 50, but again, plenty of support around that 182 area. So again, not really sweating that one yet. And then, of course, I told you I'd keep you up on Meta, right? What is that? Was it 6 days? Yeah, 6 green candles, and look at that. Finally had a red candle. It was down a little over 1%, right? So still, we'll see if they turn it around, start marching it back up. But here's your big stocks. I forgot to add Google yesterday. But again, when you see these red, where's the market going? The market's going down. Their market caps are enormous. So it is going down. Now, something to watch out for. Pay attention, especially going through the next few weeks here. What is performing well, right? Today, utilities. And I've showed you a couple times where utilities have been doing well, right? And defensive plays. Healthcare did good. We expect energy just because of what's going on with OPEC to pop up. You had consumer staples, everything else, of course, went negative. Consumer discretionary got destroyed at 2%, IT down 1.2%. But pay close attention to that because that will let you know where this market headed and let you know, more importantly, where big money is putting stuff. And I mean the hedge funds and things like that because they're going to dictate where this market goes, not us. Now, tomorrow, there are some things that absolutely can send yields down again and send the market down. You got initial jobless claims coming out. Forecast 200K, 198K prior. That's going to be out at 8:30 along with some other jobs data, okay? And, of course, Bullard, he's bearish as usual. I'm assuming he'll talk about how we're going to not cut any rates this year and everything. And remember, the market is saying maybe a quarter raise in May, pause in June, cut in July. That is what the market, so all these rallies are, this move up the market, that's what it's all based off of. That may come true. If it doesn't, put in the comments what you think is going to happen to the market, right? But until that's proven any different, it is what it is. Because remember, all this data may be coming out bad, but just look at all the jobs supposedly still out there versus, the jobs being filled. It's a big gap. So even when people lose their job, question is, they find other jobs. I'm looking around our community, they're finding other jobs, right? And so, let me know what's going on in your community. So, and what you think is going to happen here. But that's what this is based off. A lot of people, I think maybe you get, and that's what I was saying Monday was, this is the perfect time to sell the market down in a short week, right? Coming into April before you continue to move up, right? And so, again, we just got to see because Apple and Microsoft got to cooperate or it ain't going to happen, right? And they got those major resistance levels right above their heads. So that's what we got to look for, guys. Anyway, hope you guys are out of it. Hitting the like and subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow.